Here I have two styles of nitrogen fill tools for racing shock. The racing shocks that we have on our Dirt Late model are gas shocks, so they have a nitrogen chamber within the shock, and we, using one of these two tools, can set the pressure in that shock, and that's going to produce a different performance out of the shock. If your tip is get a hot pressure washer, we know. You may have seen our cool racing stuff videos. Today, we're doing a spring test. Here are the two tools that we're going to talk about. This one is for a Schrader valve, and this one is for a shock fill with like a rubber membrane. When we use this tool, we're going to pierce that rubber membrane with a needle. Just a quick look at the Schrader tool. So we've got our fill right here. We've got a gauge so we could set the pressure, and then right here, we can screw this onto the Schrader valve on our shock so that we can set the pressure. So here I've got the end of a shock with a Schrader sticking out here, and we're gonna screw that on there like this. Yep. Okay, so now that our tool is screwed onto our shock absorber, we can screw this plunger in to open the Schrader valve. Then we could fill up our tool, and since the plunger is screwed in, it's gonna fill the shock chamber. We can see our pressure there, and when we're done, we unscrew the plunger to close off the chamber, and then we could take the tool off our shock, and our pressure is set. The other style here is when you've got a rubber membrane here on your shock, and you need to pierce through that rubber membrane to access the nitrogen chamber. Okay, so this is the cap for our fill chamber. It's just a little floating piston that will use a snap ring to hold in place. Here is our needle, and so when we go to set the pressure, we're gonna push that needle through the rubber membrane, and now we have access to the chamber. Now, this is threaded and this is threaded, so we can thread this tool in, okay? And then connect our fill tool. Now we have access to the nitrogen chamber, and we can set our pressure here using the fill right there. When we're done, we're gonna release it right here. What that's gonna do is the chamber on the shock will stay sealed, but we can disconnect our tool. We'll pull that off like that, and then we'll unscrew this, remove the needle from the membrane, and our shock pressure will be set. There's a couple other styles that you'll see where your tool is gonna cup over the open chamber, so you'll have a way to unscrew the chamber and gain access to it as the cup is over the top of it. Then you flood that area, fill the shock up, close off the chamber, and your shock pressure is set. I don't have any of those tools, nor do I have any of those shocks. So I do have the membrane style needle style fill tool and the Schrader valve tool shocks on my car. So that's how these two tools work. If you like cool race car stuff, check back in, take a look at our shorts page. See you on the next one.